Hello. This video is a bit about what I've learned in the last week. Let's give you a little bit of backstory before I start talking about the 10 ways or 11 ways I've established that have helped me cope in the last week. I'm a very 100 person, so let's throw it back 3 weeks ago. I have never missed a day of gym. I work out 7 days a week. I know I overtrain, but I'm not ashamed of it. I love going to the gym. I've been training consistently for 2.5 to 3 years, lifting considerably heavy weights. And I was working 4 to 5 days a week, 40 to 50 hours a week. Loved my job. Commuting into London. I don't live in London. I have to commute into London. And I love my routine. I had my everything established. I had what I was doing, what I was living, how I was doing everything, how I was spending my time, and then suddenly the news hit and I had to stop going to work, and I had a lot more time on my hands. And I'm one of these people that likes to keep busy. I like to make sure I'm always doing something, and if I'm not doing something, I'm thinking, what else can I do? So when I got thrown into this deep end and I was like, okay, right, I've got all this time on my hand, I don't even know what I'm doing. I had a little bit of I had a breakdown. Alongside loads of family, some family issues, it was a time when I didn't know what was going on. And recently graduating in July, I'm literally lasted 5 days, and then I moved into a full-time job, and I love my job. And then not being able to go to my job, and I'm not one that can work from home, I had to figure out what I could do with my time. So these are 10 or 11 ways that I've realised have helped me and my mental health. Being a sufferer of anxiety, and the word gets thrown around so much that people don't really know what it is, but learning what works for me and what doesn't work for me has been extremely important in the last week, and it's been real trial and error. So my idea with this video is to help one person, and if I can help one person that I don't know from what I've learned in the last week, that's my goal set. I think we can all agree that the last week has been extremely difficult and different for all of us around the world. I think we can all agree that in the last week it's been extremely different and difficult for a number of us around the world. I just wanted to share a few things that I feel can help ease and transition what we're all going through, and things I've learned in the last week. So number one, schedule. So write a plan. So what I used to do before all this madness happened was plan every week. So every Sunday or Monday, and plan for the week what I wanted to achieve, places I wanted to go. But then obviously with recent occurrences, what I found really works is planning every 3 days. So 3 days, being able to say, on Monday I achieved this, 3 things that I can say that I've done. If it's make my bed, or if it's clean, or if it's little things, or they could be really big things like go for your walk outside. Obviously everyone's got different restrictions, but in the UK currently we are allowed 1 walk a day, and that's normally with my dog. Number 2, stick to a similar routine. So for example, if you're used to waking up Monday to Friday at 6:30, and maybe get up at 6:30, do your workout, and then sit down for work or make a cup of tea. You stick to a similar routine every day and you become a lot happier at home. A lot of people are finding it really difficult to work at home, and that brings me on to point number 3. If you work from home or have a job that you normally are in an office, stick to a similar routine. So if you're used to working 9 to 5, kind of transition your day around that. So Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, for example, in the UK is quite a common work schedule. So I would recommend making sure that you sit down and you're ready to work at 9, maybe get up, have breakfast, exercise, do an at-home workout. There's loads and loads going around the internet at the moment, and they're fantastic. You've got to think of the positives in this situation, and it's you don't travel to work, you take out that, it saves the environment, it also saves time for yourself. But also, if you can, try and separate the rooms. So if you have a living room and a bedroom and maybe a kitchen, so let's say a flat for example, have your living room as your workstation, and then have your bedroom as your chilled Netflix kind of vibe, and it separates, and in your mind as well, it also makes it easier for you to separate between the two. Number 4 of a way that I've learned how to cope in the last week is having time with loved ones. I was working a considerable amount where I didn't really see my family as much as I wanted to, and I found that especially in the last week I've had time with them, and it's been really, really nice. At the same time, I think it's really important to have time apart, so making sure that you guys are all doing your separate activities, but maybe Friday night for my family was movie night, and it really worked really well. So enjoying that time that we have been blessed with, this absolutely madness where we've all been saying that we have to stay home. That's never happened before, and people are seeing it as a negative, but there's so many positives, and it's just finding out the positives which work for you, really. Number 5 is move and exercise. So every day in the UK at this current moment, so we are Sunday the 29th of March, you are allowed 1 walk outside, or 1 form of activity. So really, really enjoy that 1 exercise or outside walk outside your house. Utilize it really well. So if that's walking your dog, running, cycling, anything really, just enjoy that time outdoors, and being with nature is really, really, it's really, really important. Number 6 is eat healthy. So I'm a big believer in you are what you eat, and I really, really learn a lot about how foods make you feel and why people eat certain foods. So I think it's really important to remember, enjoy what you're eating. I'm not saying eat healthy like all the time, but enjoy the foods that you're eating, spend time making them. Cooking and eating, it's all one process, and it all connects, from the moment that you smell your food to the moment that you eat your food. It's all one big process. So enjoy the time cooking, enjoy the time experimenting with new foods, maybe try a new recipe. Obviously at the moment, I don't know how it is in different countries, but every supermarket is a bit overwhelming and can be very daunting. So making sure that you have that time to just take a step back and see what you have already in your cupboards and what you can make up, and kind of make new recipes or try new recipes as they come. Obviously being mindful of not overbuying, because I think it's really important that everyone has an equal distribution of food, for example, but we'll see. Number 7 is Netflix. So it's a really funny one of helping to cope. But I feel like if you start a new Netflix series or any type of series, it really, really gets your mind off it. So if you were to have, a downtime in the evening and your mind can't stop going, I think it's really important to have that time to make sure that you can kind of switch off. So find a new Netflix series, start a new series, see what people are talking about, maybe catch up on a series that you haven't watched for a while. Number 8 is all about learning. So learn something that you've always said you wanted to learn. It could be something creative such as painting, drawing, makeup, fitness, at-home workouts, cooking. Anything is possible. TikTok's a great distraction. How to take and edit photos, how to take and edit videos. It can be anything in your own home. Just making sure that you take that little bit of creative outlet and just kind of escape your mind. I have a really good friend who says to me that she spends an hour in the morning drinking a cup of tea and colouring in a colouring book, and that's her time. So that's what she enjoys. So find what works for you, really. Number 9 is clean. So it really, really helps my mental state when I feel very overwhelmed, just to clean the area around me and making sure that I spend time in a clean environment. You are going to be home a lot more, so making sure you do look after your surroundings a lot more. And that brings me on to another point, that is, use this time to declutter. So in the first 3-4 days, what I did was I decluttered loads. I decluttered my wardrobe, I decluttered my bookcase, I decluttered my cupboards, everything that's been kind of bugging on my mind. I was making sure that I was decluttering, throwing away things that I wasn't going to use for ages or haven't used for ages. Making sure that I spent the time allocating time to declutter certain things, I think is really important. Number 10 is making sure that you take time for your loved ones. So obviously you can't go and see them at the moment, unfortunately, but you keep up with regular FaceTimes and calls with friends. I've actually found that I'm talking to my friends a lot more now I'm home. When I was working, I don't live in London, but I live outside London. When I was commuting into London, working in London, coming back, it would take a whole day out, and I didn't really have that much time, or my shifts wouldn't work around my friends' schedules. So now making sure that I take time for them and enjoy time with them, I think is extremely important.